dial it back just a smidge, Ryan.
Good call. Good call. Good call. Good call. I'm excited to be back.
Hell yeah.
Good couple of days.
Debut. We gotta follow it up. I think we got a good discussion for today. I'm excited to talk about it.
I mean, I'll talk your ear off about anything relating to football at all times. Mm-hmm. So I will try to keep it on topic. But
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of banking on you to have more of the meat of this conversation because you actually have more of a valid opinion on the matter. But
well, you'll see because I'm planning on mentioning Road to Glory at one point, and I mean, you live out a dream, and like, I gotta say, I kind of feel like I did it. So, anyways, I have a big case to make for it, and suppose we might as well get right into it.
But before we do that, we do have to acknowledge one thing that's very important. Yesterday was a very special day for us here at YachtDogs. It was the birthday of our founder and hero and our unofficial mascot, and the creator of our fight song.
Yes, true. Our dean / mascot / creator of our fight song. Do you have anything to play?
I'll just rip a quick. Don't mind me if I just.
Oh, me.
Oops, I messed up.
Fuck. Oh, perfect. Cold drop, too.
Hot.
It's hot that it's cold.
That's to you, Harry. Okay.
Harry,
no, I think we're ready now.
You.
We're good now to.
Guy's a dog. Guy's a dog for real.
Gotta go. Harry would love our show. I have no doubt in my mind. Harry's watching this somewhere, and he's like, "These boys, these dogs."
How are we gonna get it to him? That's my question. How do we get Harry's attention to watch? To watch our show? We send him an email. Strongly.
Hi, Harry. Big fan. I just want to let you know that we're also big fans. We're big fans of yours here on this show. We'd love to have you on sometime. Don't have to commit right now, but like, I think the
imagine
wildest
having
part
Harry Styles playing
Fortnite
with us.
I think he would fit right in.
What do you think his I feel like I really like to think that he would. Like, that's pretty important to me that Harry Styles would like us.
That's what keeps me going. You know what? Like, this whole... the whole grind of this, like, starting this new show, getting it going, trying to get a fan base. You know, the ultimate goal here, if I'm really being honest deep down, the ultimate goal is just to get big enough where we can be on Harry Styles' radar. Like, that's all I want, yes. Like, I've never been jealous of any celebrities for having fans or, like, being, like, rich. Well, maybe a little bit rich, but not for being, like, famous or having fans. I've only ever been jealous of celebrities because they get to be friends with other celebrities. That's the only thing I've ever been jealous of a celebrity for.
Like, really, and honestly, you know, love our fans, all of our fans, the many that there are.
Thousands, hundreds of thousands.
But this is for Harry. Don't get that twisted in any of you guys.
Like, we do it for the fans, but we more so do it for Harry.
We do it for the fans for Harry.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get it. Harry gets it. Everyone gets it.
Everyone understands. We're on the same page.
All on the same page. Good communication skills. But okay, that was a slight divergence from what we were about to get into, which is today's topic. Kind of it's related. They're directly related, but it's sort of a double-headed topic, in a way. Oh. How you
dead?
Doing? Oh, beast.
Yes, yeah. The topic today is a good one. Obviously, today this is a big deal in the news right now.
Yep. All the buzz this morning.
Yeah, this is huge news, especially for me and you, because obviously two huge fans of this. NCAA. Will it 21 or 22?
Well, it's not going to be a couple years, I think. So it's not
So
gonna be.
maybe
And
22?
they're also calling it. They're not calling it NCAA anymore.
I wouldn't.
It's like like EA Sports college football or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly, but they dropped the NCAA title.
Smart.
Right.
And less legal, whatever that crap is going on with them. Anyways, whatever they call it, we're getting a college football video game back.
Huge.
And
huge.
For me and you, growing up and,
oh my goodness.
Growing up in late 2000s, early 2010s, like, that was a big, big deal for us.
Big time. I mean, if you logged the hours I've put into that game, not good.
I still do.
Not good.
I picked it up over quarantine, and I put
same,
in time.
I literally, my PS3 hadn't been used in so long, it can't read discs anymore, so I figured out you have to tilt the PS3 on, like, back. So I literally had my PS3 propped up with, like a stack of 3 notebooks under the front of it, so it was tilted back so it could read my NCAA 14 disc, and I could rip Road to Glory. Not because, I'm trying to live out my, the life I never had as a currently washed former athlete.
Washed. You're not washed out. You're in your prime playing Fortnite right now.
That is true. This is the future that was too great for me to have foreseen. Like, I was setting my goals small. I was setting my ceiling low, looking at football. This is the real future of athletics right here.
This is where sports are at. But yeah, it was an amazing game for multiple reasons.
Oh yes,
and it's gonna come back, which is really, really good.
Yep.
So one thing I want to talk about, and before I get into the fact of why I liked it so much, I think it matters that it's coming back, and I will tell you why. So I did a little bit of research, and I kind of told you I had this hypothesis that youth football is declining. That's not a secret.
Football's a dying sport. Yeah.
It is. And NCAA 14 came out in, I believe, actually I have it written down, it's July 9, 2013. That's the last time we released a game for college football.
Yep.
And I think college football is different than Madden, by the way, and I'll get into that in a second once I make this point. But so that was when we saw also Storm, whatever. That was the last time I saw a college football game. So I'll say about a year after that is probably when people will probably stop playing that game. So maybe around like July 2014, late 2014, starting 2015.
Some fake fans right there. Real grinders kept grinding that game for a decade.
Oh yeah, well we all have. I mean, some people have.
Yeah.
Anyways, I had it pulled up. And I did some research on the participation in high school football. I don't think it's a coincidence that starting 2015 it went down like significantly. It was pretty steady and even peaked I think in 2008.
If there's anything we've learned in college is that correlation equals causation.
Yeah. So the next point. This is not causation, but I like to think that it makes a difference.
Definitive causation.
And I think it made I think it made a legitimate difference for me, and I will tell you why. This is also why I think having college football Road to Glory stuff is better than Madden in terms of like getting kids on board and getting like more youth football participation. And I'm a big advocate for football, obviously. So are you. Youth football gave me, it gave me identity. Everything I am, I kind of owe to it. Not to get too crazy or serious, but firm believer in it. Hard work, good values, all about that stuff. Anyways, I think I played soccer growing up, which you know.
Oh yes,
and I switched to football, and I was in 8th grade. And
also, when I started, we started at the same time.
Yes, we did start at the same time. For this, we played in the same football team all up until college when we diverged paths.
Yes, I went straight to the league, and you took the long road.
Exactly. Come in, please. Oh my god, the music. But anyways, I think that was in part why I started playing football. Like I said, and that was 8th grade. That was a shit show. It's kind of trying to focus sometimes playing this game. I think that was largely due in part to Road to Glory. Because I started playing that like you can make yourself playing for your high school, which obviously is so like immediate.
You could even go on like the Team Builder website and like custom design like your high school's uniforms and everything and download it to the game, which was sick.
I wonder who did that.
It's not like I spent hours like designing every detail to get it to match exactly or anything.
But like seriously, that's the kind of thing. Like it feels so real,
right?
And like in that game, you get it's like so glorified. After Road to Glory, you get the option,
right? It feels so in
to
reach.
go wherever you want. Exactly, it makes that goal feel so in reach, and it's like so sexy.
She got a big butt. See her ass isn't tight. She got a big butt. Why you playing better? You got a big butt. Earthquake. What she said she got.
It's so cool when you're looking at it as like an 8th grader, like a middle schooler.
Like,
and like
yeah.
that's low-key a big deal. And like, and I will give some credit to Friday Night Lights also, because that show also kind of convinced me to start like looking at football more. But like that's what kind of got me going on that train. Oh, I love Tim Riggins. That's kind of what got me like going towards football, which like fire here by the way is was kind of like Road to Glory, and seeing like that like that huge like cool goals like in reach. Like, oh, I can do that, blah 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 blah, because you can see yourself doing it in the game just feels so real.
Me rushing for 500 yards in 5-minute quarters was felt so real.
The really gritty guys played inside linebacker.
Hell yeah! I mean, I did play safety too, but I sucked at defense. I could not play defense in that game.
Really, I love playing inside linebacker.
I could not.
I went to Penn State. And then a different one, I went to Michigan, and like, anyways, that was such a cool thing for me because I ended up doing. Well, yeah, you don't press in your hip.
Yeah.
Never have.
Never have. I'm a big advocate for far hip.
I prefer far hip.
Join the far hip movement.
But yeah, I just think it's cool that I was able to play a Road to Glory, play for our high school, and then go play for Michigan. And like. The fact that I was able to do that was like a really cool first full circle thing. Yeah. Like the last time I played Road to Glory, which was like this past like quarantine or whatever. Yeah, it gives kids hopes that they can like do whatever they want, I think, and I think football's a great thing. Like I said earlier, like hard work, do the right thing, perseverance, like kind of hard to come by these days. And like now that I don't play anymore, I'm realizing how it's almost hard. Like you have so many things grabbing your attention away.
Right.
They're not necessarily always good for you, and like, I don't know, having that structure I think is good for kids, and like
definitely
being a part of something bigger than yourself I think is a really important deal. All around, big supporter, and I'm very happy it's back.
Right, and I guess while we're on the topic of like the benefits of playing football, especially as like a young person, obviously I'm very aware of like the injury concerns. That was a very real concern in my family, especially like and like that's valid. Like like if I were to have kids, I don't know if I'd let them play youth football.
8th grade.
Right. I don't think the things you learn in youth football necessarily always carry over the best, actually. Because I know, like, I mean, we're not going to drop any names or anything, but I know of plenty of people who were like really good youth football players, but then it didn't translate over like up and even into high school, let alone beyond high school. So like, there's other sports where I think that's less true, or maybe more true. I don't know how I was wording it. Where playing young is very important, like where it's very skill oriented. Like I think something like there's people right out here, like basketball, for example. I think you kind of have to start that early, but football, I think you don't have to necessarily start as early. And also, I think just for the sake of saving your brain a little bit, I don't think it's necessarily great to start super early. But that being said, I think having that as something present in your relative youth, so maybe not when you're a little kid, but maybe it's like middle school, like for us, it is like how, like, I don't know, one of our coaches ever said this, but like the ultimate team sport in that you don't really get that out of any other sport. Well, at least any other like very common sport that we're familiar with.
I killed one.
Pause just for a second.
You're good. While you're going, and like also, I do agree with you the fact that like I also think when you're young, it's also more about having fun when you're playing sports. You don't need those values. You don't need to be a grind, hit a gold score. I'm not worried about it.
But like
those things are a big of a deal, and also the risk. You're right. Is just we're biased. I think we did it perfectly.
Yeah, we had a good experience in terms of when we started and how it worked out for us.
And like also we had, like I cannot imagine a better high school football staff than we had.
Right. The culture and like the program that we were like brought into made the experience.
It was incredible. Yeah.
And yeah,
that's what it's all about, man.
That's another thing that's unfortunate is a lot of football culture I don't necessarily think is great. Like you watch a lot of like reality shows like around football, and you see the kind of culture that some coaches create for their teams, especially like when it's little kids. And I don't know if that's always the best, but I do definitely think being in that kind of environment where, I mean, there's 11 guys on the field, so there's 10 other guys out there who are relying on you to do your job, and it's really like everyone has to do their job well. It's the least individualistic team sport out of at least like the very common team sports I can think of.
Oh, 100%. And like I think that's a huge deal. I mean, it's a huge deal for me. Like,
yes,
obviously that's when me and you became really close was through that kind of it's through the same stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I'm obviously just hugely in favor of it, and I'm just glad that, you know.
Yeah. And it is sort of like a fraternity in a way where it's like what you go through, like when you go through all those like sucky parts, like conditioning and all that, and just like the unpleasant stuff, that makes you that much closer and makes you appreciate like people around you that much more.
Yeah.
Well,
and then it's also like that's just kind of important though. I mean, and what I've noticed, and also like I could be a weirdo for this, but like that stuff makes certain moments like this stuff, because we did all that stuff, stick out to me so much. Like I'll give you an example without getting too sentimental here. Like I got
beat off the line coming to you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I forever like have that picture we took. I can imagine like not like the picture itself, the moment we took the picture after that Brighton game together our senior year.
I think my mom took it on her iPhone.
Exactly.
Yep. Classic. I have it. Oh.
And I know exactly where's my phone. Like I have it favorited. Actually, people wouldn't be here to interrupt this. But like, just like I can remember that moment. It's okay.
Damn.
I can remember that moment and thinking like, wow, like, we really, you know how far we came, like one together, and like
that game was an absolute, like those 2 weeks were an absolute adrenaline ride. Dearborn and Brighton.
I feel like we made it, like from going like 2-7 to 7-2, like our senior year, and beating two real good teams, like.
Two teams that were objectively way better than us.
I mean that, like, and to know that too, and have awareness of that. That's okay. The Dragon's Breath. To know that and have awareness that those teams are better than us, and that the reason we won was because of how hard we worked and like being like
we're just grinders.
Way better athletes, and I think, I think you're right. Most football culture doesn't appreciate that kind of thing. Just the fact that we worked hard and like, and played together, played for each other, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it, like. Made it feel so good. So I mean, those things, and still like those things, you know, I don't want to say I peaked in high school because I don't think I did, but those are probably some of my favorite moments I've had in life so far.
I peaked in like elementary school, I'm pretty sure. I think I peaked in like 4th or 5th grade.
When you told me that Santa Claus wasn't real.
That was Ryan's, like that was the lowest Ryan's ever been.
Low point. No, I didn't exist freshman year of high school.
True, between the two of us, we have 6 combined years of high school experience.
One of us in the 10th senior year, one of us in the 10th freshman year.
It's okay. I was on to something with, what were we just talking about? I lost my train of thought.
We were talking about like values in football.
Yeah, here was something that we actually talked about last session, but I ended up cropping from the episode. But you mentioned how. And this is something that's like a very good point that I didn't really think of. How we're kind of our high school team was unique in that we did the retreat over the summer, and that
made the whole thing.
Right, and like even like just thinking out, like yes, there were sort of like cliques within the football team, sure, but for the most part, like there was no beef or anything between anyone. Like, we all loved each other. Like, even if we weren't best friends with everyone on the team, like, we still all got along and we still all had everyone's back. Like, it was, like, that's, like, for a group of, like, however, like, 70 people, like, that's about as good as you can expect. Yeah.
It's, like, I think that was so important to, like, my development. I feel like just as a human being, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that, yeah, you're right. Like, that retreat, have that kind of thing. One, I don't understand why more programs like don't do that sort of thing. Right. I can tell you that we here would have really benefited from that. Yeah, it's just like being a part of something that's like so much bigger than yourself and feeling like you have I have a great family, so I'm not saying anything against that, but like I feel like you have a family that you like chose, like you like worked your way, like not worked your way into, but like you chose this group of people and like you love them so much, blah blah blah, whatever.
Right.
Is like and then like, and obviously this is not war. Football's not war, but like fighting for them in some sort of way. Right. And whether that's for us, that's just playing football. So obviously, not as sweet, but still like that's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a thing. Like you mentioned, is
big for me.
It's I think most people would be like this, where we aren't as I got beat off the line again. We're a lot like we don't like mind letting ourselves down. Really, we're used to that. But like when you let down someone who was counting on you and like who you care about and you want to see them do well, like that shit hurts. So then, like when you're on a team like that, you really don't want to let down your teammates because like that feels way worse than anything you could do to let yourself down. And so like that, once you have that level of like chemistry and fuck this, that level of, I guess, commitment in sense of, I guess, I don't know, I'm blanking on words, but sense of, I guess, responsibility to your teammates among your team, like that's
accountability.
That's I think the best possible thing you can hope for out of a football team and any team really, so that it translates beyond football, just obviously.
And I miss it. Like that's one thing I've always like found myself. So ever since then, like I can't help just be like searching for that. Ever since I really got out of high school, and like obviously I played football in college. It's different. It's a business at this point.
I mean,
like,
I dabbled in,
and it drove me to almost like military stuff. Like I sincerely, like I actually pretty seriously considered military stuff. But yeah, that was such a cool thing. We had such a good experience.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, I dabbled in college level football.
Oh, I know.
Not collegiate football, but football that was played in college. And that was a real wake-up call for me because it's the same sport, obviously, but such a night and day experience. And it's not like it was that terrible or anything. I'm sure it was fine, probably on like an absolute scale, but compared to what I had been like spoiled with previously, I was like, this doesn't feel the same. And that made me like, I knew I had it good in high school, but I didn't realize how good until then. I was like, damn. Like,
well, it makes you appreciate like what we had even more. And like I played at a place that has more resources than like anywhere.
Right.
That's more football resources than anywhere. Like
same.
But like it's still like
like
there is, and I always remember, and I always think back to this a lot. We did an alignment that went to Wisconsin for our high school, and like and thinking back to, I remember like one thing before pregame, he wrote a note for one of our coaches' retest, and it was like, and I've been playing college football for 3 years at a big time school. Like, I promise you guys, there's nothing like going out there and playing with your buddies. Like, there's absolutely nothing like it. And like, he was right.
Yeah.
I
remember that right. too, and I remember I was like, it's probably kind of true, but he's also probably saying that just so we like, you know, he knows this is about to be like read before a game and whatnot. So I was like, yeah, it's probably somewhat true, but
he was right, dude.
Yeah. Know that now, huh?
Yeah. I do. Like at this point, my love for football, and like I love the X and O's and stuff, and that's where it is now. Like I don't realize how much more it used to be. He's down here in the bottom.
Oh.
You should just come get me up for fun. Come on.
Come on.
Oh my gosh, dude, what are they doing?
I dropped a small for you. What if he's getting his teammate up?
Oh, you knocked his teammate.
Yeah, I think he got his teammate up. We were both doing the same thing. Knocked one. Where's your buddy?
Where's your right here. On the ground. Aggression.
Ow. Finish him. Finish him. Get him now. You went inside.
Yep.
Come on now. Come on now. And he's poking up.
Oh no!
All right. Where were we? So, okay, yes, there's kind of, generally speaking, there's sort of two avenues, I guess, whereas one is schools directly paying players.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's players being allowed to, like, build their own brands, like, hire agents, have endorsements, whatnot, and, yeah, player likeness.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. I guess, actually, a lot of this had to do more with paying players, which is, I guess, sort of a different topic.
It all is the same thing, though. I mean, if you're going to play guys for their likeness, then they will have the brands that come along, right? Like, they build off of each other. You know what I mean?
But I guess for the sake of today's discussion, since we're talking about NCAA, well, college football, EA Sports college football coming back, that has more to do with player likeness than paying players.
Yeah.
Which, like, yes, I know they're related, but if we're being a little bit more specific, it has to do with more with that aspect of it. So, I guess, well, what's your just general stance on players being allowed to be build their brands and like receive money for their likeness?
Well, here's where it gets funky, and like first of all, I guess I'll start with this. College football is a business.
Yes, definitely.
And I think that players at this point should get treated as such. You don't really have a lot of time, as much time as you would like to get your schoolwork done. And it does feel like you have like a legitimate 8-hour per day job. Like,
yes, 100%.
You know. Oh, there's a person here. And so for that reason, like, I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, oh yeah, you should totally get paid. You know what I mean? Like, how could you not? And then I think about it, and college football shouldn't be like that in general, right? Like, it shouldn't. Like, that is a legitimate problem with it right now, the fact that it's such a business.
Yeah.
I wish it was not like that, but it is. And I think the biggest fear is that if you pay players, you ruin college football even more.
Beast.
You ruin college football even more. Yeah, how about it? You ruin college football even more with the fact that you create even more separation. Like, Group of 5 and Power 5 should not be so separated right now as it is, right? So if you start paying guys or letting guys make money off their brands and likeness, think about the difference between like what Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence will have, versus what the best player from a team at like Northwestern would get. Like, Northwestern's legit. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing Northwestern at all. They're really good. Like, they're legit. But it gets so different, and then all of a sudden, like, a player sees that he can go to Clemson or Alabama or Ohio State and that he can make money off of his name. He's like, okay, well, I'm not going to Northwestern. So basically, it's the same thing in America. The rich will get really rich, and the poor will get super poor, and I think it will happen really, really, really fast because recruiting. It's not like you have a whole life cycle or generations, you know, going at this or whatever. It's like a 4-year recruiting class. So every year you're bringing guys, and every year you're going to see, okay, well, if these guys are getting paid for their brands more, that's where I'm going to go. I want to make money. People are driven by money. It's America's whatever. But that's my worry. And like, I'm all for players first, everything like that. And I think they deserve some kind of, like, something needs to change for them. In my opinion, you got to actually you got to change the hours, you know, in some way, shape, or form that players are there. There are things that are done that are unnecessary, I think, and I think the one thing you can do is point is make it more fun, like make it more of an experience for college football players again. I think that's possible. I don't think people do a good job of it.
Yeah, I mean the expectations are so high now.
It's something. It really. I'm telling you, you are automatically turned into like, oh wow, how about it? You are forced into becoming like a grown man once you start playing. Like you have to understand that you are now professional.
Right.
That's how
easy.
I'm fine.
Did you knock him? Oh, you knocked him. How about it?
Okay.
Oh, one for one, real quick.
Teammate was good. You got him. Doing great. But yeah, anyways, point being, it's to create so much separation, and it's going to make college football even more like business than it is. I think we're at a point where, like, it would be really good job. It'd be really good for us to try, and I say us being college football, I think it'd be really good for us to kind of make it more of an experience for players again, and we get less business-like. I just don't know if we're ever be able to, if we're going to be able to actually do that or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine how. I mean, how would you even go about? Because like, expectations would have to be lowered, and like that's not like you can't just ask your fans, all right, just whatever your current expectations are, just lower them a little bit. Like, quality of play is not gonna be quite the same.
Yeah, and that's the problem. People have these unrealistic expectations. They think players are robots.
I mean, it's literally treated like professional. Yeah.
It is. It's professional sports at a at the college institution. Like, that's
but
what
even
it is.
even like kind of what you were saying, even for professional sports, still people like their expectations are still unrealistic. Even if we were treating them at a professional level, like they're still like, just like you'd have no other life.
Never end. Yeah. Like once we start paying players or let them benefit from their image, like I think it's at that point like there's absolutely no going back.
Do you think there's any way to go about that where it doesn't end up with such separation? Like, is there any way? Is there like a more like egalitarian way of paying players?
Well, think about it. Are you gonna pay Justin Fields the same amount as you're gonna pay me?
I mean, not willingly, but if there's some sort of like set of rules or mandates in place,
you mean kind of just gonna? I almost feel that's just like delaying the problem at that point, though. If you're gonna start, like I said, I think once you put the first out, and they're already getting paid guys are already getting paid all right.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying anything illegal. I'm saying through scholarships, like you get a certain check to pay for your housing, and like if you don't want to pay $600 a month for housing, don't pay a little bit less, and then make $800 a month, like.
Yeah. But like still as like a percentage of how much revenue like most like programs bring in,
and like everyone gets an equal cut.
Right.
You mean?
Yeah. Like I guess I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's tricky. Obviously, if it was easy, there would already be a solution presented. But oh, did not keep track of the storm.
I should have done it.
What did he do?
Made a mistake.
Yeah, there was something interesting. This is, I guess, not directly related. This is like a different circumstance. But like, I know I saw something today about in California they're proposing passing a bill that would allow college players there to be paid, but that would be just the state of California. So then the argument was that would give them an unfair advantage at recruiting players. So then California schools actually voted against it because they would be banned from bowl games if that was the case. So, I mean, I don't think this was up for debate anyways, but I think it has to be a nationwide thing, definitely.
It has to be, and I also think the value has to be the same. The problem is the values have to be the same no matter where you go, or else recruiting, because it's a serious thing. Like you're saying, at this, everything's it's sort of like that already, but it's more vague. It's all about how much money that they can eventually make.
Right. But they do it through how nice their facilities are, or all these services. Yeah.
And once it gets direct, and they can literally say
here's a fat check.
Listen, we can give you $2,000 a year. If you go to that school over there, you're thinking about yes, it might be a better fit for you, but they're only going to pay you $100 a year. Like,
Yeah.
which one are you gonna go to?
Mhm.
You know, at least a lot of guys. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's college football's like job to get involved in that. I guess, but it kind of has to. It's such an interesting problem. I
Right.
suppose I don't know the answer.
I guess yeah. It's like a weird like I don't know if dichotomy is the right word for it, but where like you want to help the players by paying them, but by paying the players, you actually create maybe a worse scenario for players. Like,
I think ultimately you do.
yeah,
It's weird, and I know I would have a lot of teammates that disagree with me when I say that paying dudes isn't like the right way to go about it. But I don't know. As someone who like will get back into coaching at one point, and might even do it like sooner rather than later. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just hard to know all of like the ripple effects of doing something as significantly different from now as paying players or allowing players to be paid.
Yeah. I just think it'll be such a change. Like, I really do. So I don't. Hyperdrive.
Yeah. Well, I think that actually, honestly, unless you have anything to add, I think that kind of covers today's discussion for the most part. Do you have any closing remarks?
I feel good about it. I had I mean, I guess closing remarks are I'm super excited that college football is back, and I'm super excited that it does not carry any burden with players getting paid, I suppose.